so much of this memory is vague. It happened a long time ago, in the late 80s, back home in a large city. I can't remember the exact year, but I was very young, no more than 6 or 7 years old. My recollection of the dialogue is not perfect, some of it has to be generalized, and a chunk of the action is a big blur, partly because it all happened so fast and at that age everything sticks as fragments. Anyways, my mom and I went to visit my aunt. She was having a summer barbecue at her apartment complex, which wasn't too far away, about a 30-minute train ride from home. We had made the trip before without any problems. It was a fun time and we stayed pretty late, as my mom helped to clean up after the party. I remember saying goodbye to my aunt and rushing to catch the last train. This was a city light rail, not an Amtrak or anything, and the last one always departed at 11:35 p.m. Our home stop was a bit different than the others. It was technically open all night and was always unmanned. Outdoors and elevated. There were 2 platforms on each side, with a fence cutting them off down the middle. Each side had a very narrow and dimly lit staircase as their only entrance and exit. People could come and go as they please, in the wee hours of the morning, without much notice. It was open, but very much enclosed. My mom and I arrived at our station, I'm guessing around midnight. We were the only ones to get off the train and we walked to the stairwell to go down. As we turned the corner and took the first step down, we saw a man at the bottom, sitting on the last step. He was positioned sideways, so he could see up and also towards the entrance. We took another step without much worry, but then he seemed to notice us on the stairs, and suddenly sprang to life and stood up, gazing at us with one foot on the ground and the other on the bottom step. His quick attention to our presence is what I think got my mom's alarm bells ringing. She halted my movement very quickly, and told me stop. I remember this was a pretty scary-looking guy. Very shaggy and bald with a long beard and sunken eyes. Even at my age, I felt he wasn't just some guy sitting on some steps. My mom walked me back up to the platform but we stayed within line of sight of the man. It makes sense, don't walk away and lose sight of him, so he can potentially walk up and trap us on the platform before we have a chance to react. My mom seemed really puzzled, like she didn't know what to do or how to handle this situation. She told me let's just wait, maybe another train will come along. But like I mentioned, we took the last one, odds were beyond slim of getting rescued by another train. All the while the man was still at the bottom, standing and not doing much but staring off to the entrance and occasionally looking up at us. I remember him smiling a little. The right side of each stairwell is partially open, so you can see out at the car traffic and the occasional walker. My mom then started looking intensely outside to see if anyone else was around. She could have screamed as some cars went by, but I think she didn't want to upset the man at the bottom of the stairs, so she made some small hand gestures at cars but nothing materialized. The man then scared the hell out of us and spoke for the first time in this halting angry voice, some along the lines of, "Why be scared? I'm not gonna hurt you, bitch." My mom responded telling him to leave the station. But he chuckled and just stood there. She grabbed my arm and put me on the left side of her. She then told me, "We're going to walk down, and if the man tries anything to leave me and run home as fast as you can." The station had 2 exits once you reached the bottom. We were all closest to the one on the right, which wasn't ours, and only led to a non-residential street and some empty roads. Ours was on the left, but the exit led to a large winding footbridge, over a parkway, that would normally take 2 minutes to walk across, and maybe 30 seconds running fast. Once on that footbridge though, you'd have nowhere else to go. Maybe my mom thought we'd have better odds at the bottom than at the top, but she grabbed my arm and we walked cautiously down. He was mumbling something as we walked. Head would briefly look in all directions, to look at us and to maybe scan for others. We got closer. I remember trying not to look at him or even in his general direction. I was on the left. He was on the right of my mom. We got to the bottom 3 steps. 2 steps. I see a blur of him lunging at my mom as we reach the bottom. My mom isn't holding my arm, and out of the corner of my eye I see the man move quickly back off balance, like he got shoved. My mom grabs me again and she said run. As we scramble out of the left exit and onto the side neck of the footbridge, I hear some shouting, but I don't look in any direction except forward. My mom was not very athletic and a bit overweight, so she isn't a fast runner, and I'm so small, it's not like we have a great head start. We reach the top of the neck and onto the main path of the bridge. There's a car coming down the parkway in the distance, and I see my mom start to wave her free hand frantically and scream help. As we try to move as fast as we can, the car stops. A man on the driver's side exists and a woman on the passenger. They're about 15 to 20 feet below us, and the man yells up asking if we need some help. My mom shouts yes, and the driver runs up the winding path of the bridge, and another man then gets out of the back seat. The driver is getting closer up the bridge and I hear him shout, "Leave them alone." And then he screams for his friend to get up here. Behind us, I hear the heavy footsteps of running, which I assume was the attacker. But instead now of getting closer, they got more distant. The 2 guys from the car reach us and ask if we're okay. Physically we're fine, and they escort us to our apartment building where we call the police. They come and we drive us around the neighborhood to see if we can spot the perp. We don't. Then we spend an hour in our living room looking through a gigantic book of mugshots, but it leads to nothing. He got away. That was the last we ever saw of him. Bad timing put us in a horrible situation, but then good timing saved us right after. I've then used that same train stop thousands of times since then, without any problems. Please, subscribe.